Alrighty. Hi out there. Sorry for taking so long. We originally had scheduled this for 2, and then we had to push it back to 3, and then it turns out that 3 o'clock was harder for me to hit than I'd hoped, so 3:15. Haha, we beat 3:15 by 2 minutes. So,
Yeah.
we're not an hour and 12 minutes late. We're like 3 minutes early.
Yeah.
From the time that I have just now selected. So, for those of you out there who are watching, chances are you probably already know the deal since you happen to show up for today. But if you do not know the deal, I am Zed or ZX. You know what? I'm just gonna drop the ZX thing. I'm Zed. I run the Welcome to the Parties, new to the party game on Mondays, which is for new players to Dungeons and Dragons. We have, for the past few weeks, been minus a player, Cubit, who is, chilling with an adorable bow. And is, so she was on vacation. Where'd you go again, Cubit?
I went to 7 countries in Europe, so a lot of places.
Name them. Which ones? Where were you?
France, Italy, Luxembourg, Switzerland, Germany. I forgot.
Okay.
It was good though.
So good you don't quite remember it all. That totally works. So, being minus a player for that long, sometimes there are good ways that you can kind of explain someone's absence, and sometimes there are more complicated ways that you can explain someone's absence. And so, in this case, we decided to go for I decided to go for one of the more complicated ways that we could do this.
You melted me.
I melted you, yeah. So, yeah,
That was a big one I forgot.
yeah, you forgot England, where you got to meet one of our other players. So, you are memorable, Shakespeare. I would not have forgotten that.
To be fair, I remembered that weekend, but I forgot where I was.
Okay. So, so Cubit has been missing. Brenleigh, Cubit's character, has been missing from the group for this time, but not entirely, and there's a god behind me.
Hi! I'm excited to hear what happened to Brenleigh. I'm super excited. Because he hasn't told me anything!
I haven't. I have not shared.
Not fair.
Well, I'll find out.
Thank you, Death by Mage, for showing up for the time that you could.
Yay!
Yeah, thank you.
Have fun!
So we will be taking care of what has happened on the other side of things. So if you've been watching, you would already know, but as far as the rest of the players are concerned, Brenleigh was asleep for a while with a glowing orb in her hands that they could not remove.
Very Pippin-esque.
Yes, the glowing orb kept changing colors and sort of pulsing. And then suddenly the orb was gone and Brenleigh was fine. And then she had some trouble brushing her teeth, which resulted in some physical degradation, and her body melt-sploded, and horrifying everybody else in the party. And yeah.
When I watched that rerun, I just started cackling. I thought that was so beautiful.
Well, I'm glad that you liked it.
I loved it.
I feel like it was a little rough at the time.
Which made it better for me.
Yeah, fair. So today's goal is to sort of catch everybody, but primarily Cubit, up on what Brenleigh was actually doing in the meantime, and get her caught up with the rest of the group. So this could be 20 minutes, this could be an hour, it could be a little bit longer even. It depends on exactly how this goes. Most of this is going to be up to Qubit. Now, I don't typically do... I don't usually like to do side quests, but we're in a bit of a, like, individual side quests, but we're in a bit of a weird state, just having had a character out for so long, which, again, totally fine. Don't ever choose a weekly role-playing game over a chance to go visit 7 countries. If you have those choices to make, yeah, exactly. If you have those choices to make, do not feel bad about choosing to travel internationally all over the damn place. You absolutely made the right choice. Jake, make sure this takes a nice long time. Okay, so
I'll talk very slowly.
I gotta remember back about a month, but I'm gonna try to set the scene for you a little bit. So, ooh, let me see. What does this one actually look like right now? Because this might be a good background just while we're chatting. Let me erase all the tokens on it. Whoop. Okay, I think that works. So I'll zoom in on this. Get rid of the turn order. And so, yep. That is appropriate for where we are. So you were chilling in your camp. You had just taken out the black dragon. You had gotten sent
which
to...
I killed, not Silent Fist.
Which you did. You woke up to find that the orb was actually in your tent next to you, glowing. And you could hear a sort of a faint whisper, but no, it was not clear what language it was, what the words were. And in a rare moment of me deciding what your character does for you, you, in your groggy state, reached out to touch the orb.
Of course she did.
To, like, try to get a closer look at what was going on. And when you did so, you found yourself transported to another place. So, here's how the transportation went. And here's where you find yourself right now. If you take a look at Roll20, you will see that you are... So this is the same map that we used for the Ether. You should actually be taking a look more at sort of the center of it. You are traveling through... Let's call it a wormhole. But it is a...
Wait, I mean... is this always for the Ether?
I'm sorry.
Right one?
You're like breaking up a little bit.
Okay, I am seeing myself in a stone room.
Oh, let me fix that.
Always for the Ether.
Let me fix that. No, that's just me being slow. Okay.
So I was like, oh, what's the owl thing?
So you are traveling forward. You think it's forward. But you find yourself in a tunnel. The colors and lights are swirling around you. You are levitating, as far as you can tell, roughly in the center of this. And it looks like you're moving in a direction, but you can't feel the movement. There is no sense of weight or force on you. So, you know, when you move your arms, for example, you can only tell that you're moving them because you can see them, but they're not interacting with anything that you can feel. There is no air or wind resistance here. So you are currently suspended in some kind of a psychedelic tube.
This is normal.
So what do you do?
Do a psychedelic tube angel.
Okay.
Yeah, I think she'd just be pretty confused. Like, she can, but you said I can see my hands and arms and things?
Yes.
And, like, touch my face?
Yes.
And everywhere I look, it's just these colors?
Yes. At either end of the tube, it gets brighter, turning to white.
Can I try to do, like, a swim?
You
or
can.
Then? I do that.
You have the vague sensation that you might be moving. It's hard to tell.
Cool.
The white lights on either end do not seem to be any closer or further away.
Do I have anything on me?
Yeah, you have all of your equipment.
All my equipment. In one of my bags, can I find the orb? Do I have that?
That you do not have.
Okay. I try to stab at some of the air.
Okay. What are you attempting to discern when you do that?
Honestly, okay, I'm trying to separate, like, what I would do versus what Brenleigh would do, and I think Brenleigh would just be, like, her first reaction is just to stab things, so she's, like, trying to see if, like, if I'm in what I'm picturing as a tube, and I can't necessarily get to either end, cut out the middle.
Okay.
And get out that way.
Okay. So messing with the, like, attempting to stab, you realize that the edges of the tube are actually much further away than you realized. You kind of stab, but, like, if you're reaching
like
or cutting
there.
something, yeah, you're not finding it.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I want to take out one of my hand axes and, like, let go of it and see if it falls in any direction.
It does not. It floats.
Well, that's cool, but very unhelpful. I do a barrel roll.
Okay, how do you do a barrel roll?
You know how when you, like, go underwater and you can, like, alligator kick your way into spinning in a spiral? I do like that.
Okay. As you kick yourself in an interesting spiral, you note that while your hand axe, which is floating, stays where it is, you do move, even though it does not look like any of the edges of the tunnel move.
Okay, that's good. Hello?
You receive no response.
Oh no. Try to, like, pinch myself to see if I'm awake. Do I feel pain?
You pinch yourself and it feels like you're pinching yourself.
Okay. What else do I have? Okay, so then I want to, like, wiggle roll my way back to the hand axe and try to throw it and see, like, if I can jet a distance.
Okay. You make it back to the hand axe, and I mean, yeah, you can throw it. Which direction do you choose to throw it?
Yeah, towards, like, one of the lights at the end.
Okay. The hand axe travels pretty far. It's difficult to tell exactly how far because at a certain point, it's hard to see. But it doesn't look like you hit one of the lights, but you can see the hand axe.
Yeah. So,
But it flies straight and true as if perhaps there is no, say, air resistance or gravity or even really...
But I'm breathing, presumably.
The chat window for Roll20 is flipped vertically? I'm not understanding. No, it shouldn't be. Hang on.
I don't see it that way.
Yeah, it looks... Oh, it is. Oh, hang on.
Whoa.
Alright, so while Brenleigh is thinking, I will see what I can do to fix that. That is a very strange issue. Let me see. So Brenleigh...
I think Rock knows what you did.
Oh, I know what I did too. I figured it out. I think I fixed it. No, because that puts it... Oh, no, I see. Okay, I know what to do.
That makes one of us.
So yeah, keep thinking your way through it.
Okay. Okay, so I know I didn't find the orb. When I'm inspecting my stuff, do I find anything else that I don't recognize?
Do you find anything else that you don't recognize?
Or do I find something I don't recognize, like, other than the orb? I know that's what I was specifically looking for before, but it's just, do I have anything other than my own equipment I'm used to having?
You take stock of all of your items, and no, there is nothing new.
Okay. Brenleigh definitely would do that too. She kind of like sits cross-legged and crosses her arms just in the air, and she's very puzzled.
Okay.
Because I am very puzzled. So no verbal responses. And you said I am breathing, correct? Like,
well,
I take stock of myself. Am I breathing?
You realize that you are capable of breathing, that you probably have been breathing, but if you hold your breath for any length of time, you realize you don't actually need to.
But I pinched myself when I felt pain.
Sort of. You felt a recognition.
I felt like I was pinching myself.
Yeah, you felt a recognition in your head that you were pinching yourself.
I see.
But it is not, strictly speaking, pain.
Okay, so like when I slap myself across the face, it doesn't hurt?
Not entirely. And in fact, you can tell even that, like, you can feel parts of the slap that you normally wouldn't. Like, when you slap yourself, you can, like, feel the compression of your cheek. You can feel kind of the wobbly afterwards, like if you were to slow it down. Right, like, you can feel all of that. But it doesn't feel like pain. It feels like information.
Interesting. If I prick my finger, do I bleed?
What do you prick your finger with?
My hand axe.
How do you get your hand axe? Oh,
Well, I have two, so I threw one.
Okay.
I take out another one and...
Okay. You do not bleed. In fact, you can't break the skin.
That's cool.
When you press into yourself, you feel it like pushing into the skin, but you can tell like it won't break the surface.
Neat. That's handy. I don't need to breathe. And I presumably got here by touching the orb, which previously, to use the orb, it was about intention. So instead of like just kind of wiggling towards the light, I know I'm going to get there, and I head that way.
And so, as you choose... my voice went funny. As you choose to travel...
Yes.
You find yourself rocketing through this tube at a great speed.
Yeah.
And you eventually land here. Let me... I gotta... Okay. You should be able to see yourself.
I do.
And there is someone else there. So what happens is you see this island, and you see this person on this island. Actually, I'm going to place you sort of off into the spacey land, because that's really where you are at the moment. But you see an island of stone in the middle of this great purple ocean, almost, of what look like stars or points of energetic light. And you can see a person. He looks like a soldier of some kind. He's wearing armor with a blazon of the chrysanthemum on it. And he is standing on this rock. His sword is sheathed, and he is staring off into space, essentially. His back is to you at the moment.
Okay. Yeah, I do want to land near him, because where else would I go? So, can I move myself?
Yeah, you can choose to be...
I'm choosing to be.
Mm-hmm.
Right here.
Okay.
I'm gonna, like, poke him.
He turns to you and says, "Oh, hi." As you've gotten closer, you can see he is an elf. And he is wearing an insignia that you recognize, given all the stuff you guys have been doing with all the old bits.
Mm-hmm.
He's wearing an insignia that you recognize marks him as an officer in Zelen Vale's army. He says, "Oh, hi."
Hi. Do you know where we are?
Yes.
Will you tell me?
Yes.
Where are we?
We are in the ether, I think.
Well, but you said you knew. Now you think. All right, whatever.
I know,
How did you get here?
I know where I am.
Interesting.
How did I get here?
Yes.
That's a very long story, and I'm not entirely sure I want to tell you.
That's fair.
It's a little embarrassing, frankly.
Oh, now I want to know.
How did you get here?
I touched an orb that my friends told me not to touch, but it was glowing and it was kind of whispering. So, I mean, you know how it is.
Okay. You touched an orb.
Yes. That we got from killing a dragon.
What color dragon?
Black.
It was. Well.
Okay, cool.
Sorry.
As far as I knew.
Me as GM, yeah, it was. Yeah.
Perfect.
In character, it didn't say. Well, that's comforting to know that those are still there. That no one has found them yet. Well, until you found them, I suppose. Do you know if the rest of the orbs are where they're supposed to be?
Where are they supposed to be?
Well, inside the dragons until such time as someone can come along and unite them.
There's more than the one that I touched, because frankly, it's done a whole lot of weird things, and I feel like these don't need to be anywhere.
There should be 4 of them.
Also, out of character. In my experience. I woke up in the middle of the night and I touched the orb. I did not have the experience of waking up and not knowing how to brush my teeth and all of that, right?
Correct.
Okay, cool.
That is an experience of your meat body. You have not had that experience.
Okay. I'm just trying to get my timeline figured out. Okay. Because I think she hates them a lot more than... So, sorry, who are you again?
I have not introduced myself.
So who are you?
Orin. There.
Orin.
Lieutenant
Alright.
in the Chrysanthemum Army to the Great Zelen Vale, and, it turns out, grand betrayer of his trust and our cause.
Well, that's unfortunate. Maybe you shouldn't have done that part, but, you know, guess it is what it is.
Such is my penance.
Is that why you're here?
I'm wondering if that's why you're here, to torment me further. I've been alone so long, and had nearly come to peace with things. I have to assume that you are some new hell granted to further remind me of what I've done.
You're not the first person to tell me that. That's weird.
What is your name, Harpy?
Brenleigh, and I'm not a harpy.
Then what are you?
A human, I think. Or I was. I don't know. This is all weird. Did you know that when you touch your hand to a hand axe, you can't actually, like, break the skin?
Physical sensation is prohibited here, it would seem.
Yeah, that's messed up.
I miss breathing. I miss feeling things.
You can breathe.
You can choose to do something like breathing.
Yeah.
But you don't have a physical form. As you look at yourself, you realize that over time, you've become vaguely transparent, and so is this guy. Like, not very. You have to really look at it. But if you, say, hold your hand up to, like, two contrasting colors, you can see the difference.
Can I choose not to be transparent?
No.
That's unsettling. So, okay. I know you said it's embarrassing, betrayer of trust, all that jazz. How did you get here?
I think I may be missing some of the details, but when the two empires decided that Zelen was too much for them to abide, when their greed outstripped their morality, they enacted a ritual. In the course of that ritual, they removed many of us from the stream of time, of place, of physicality.
That's harsh.
Yes. But they felt, I think, and probably rightly so, that we would not simply roll over, simply accept their rule, allow them to have their way with all of the magic of our world. And so we resisted, hoping to prevent an ascension to godhood by corrupt people. I think it worked. I don't really know. I don't know if what I see in here is real or not. I don't know if the visions I've had or the places I've visited are real or not, or if I've simply made them up. I can choose to see and hear whatever I want. I could make for myself, I suppose, a kind of heaven, except for the fact that I would know it is a lie. And so I sit here, staring at nothing.
Not very productive.
It's what I have. What
Have
about
you tried
you?
to leave?
I have. I would very much like to leave. I would like to breathe, eat, feel something, smell something.
Must be nice.
I have to assume that it would be. How are you here?
Well, I touched the orb. I told you. And then I was in, that like kaleidoscope. Pretty sure I was in a kaleidoscope. And then I did, a couple barrels, and now I'm here. And I'm not entirely convinced that I'm not dreaming.
Oh, you're definitely not dreaming. Can you look behind yourself?
I do that.
Holy crap, World Anvil. Good golly, thank you.
Oh, wow.
Wow. Thanks, guys. This is a very weird episode for people to show up in. Just to catch up the people who are watching this for the first time. This is a bonus episode of our Monday game where we are catching up with one of our players who has been missing for 3 weeks, and in that time, as far as the rest of her party is considered, this character melted and died. But in fact, her consciousness is somewhere else, and so right now, she is having a conversation with another entity floating in something. And so there's a lot of deep lore going on for the game, and not the best intro episode, but we thank you so much for being here. We are using Roll20. Brenleigh is a level 5, or did you go up to 6? I don't recall.
5.
Level 5 fighter.
Human.
Well, we'll talk about that.
Well, presumably I was a human, and then I guess that melted, so now I'm whatever this is. Okay.
Okay, so...
Okay, so I looked behind me.
Yes. So, how do you look behind you, is the question. Okay, you don't see shit. And he says to you, no, look behind you. Your eyes are not your only sensory organs here. In fact, your eyes are as vestigial as everything else.
Okay. She closes her eyes, and I don't know how to describe what I'm thinking of, but sees behind her.
Yeah. That's exactly right. So, a PC Velociraptor? Man, I don't know. Certainly high dex and strength. Okay. Thank you very much, Pardalis66. Woo! Yeah, so you see behind you. In fact,
girls.
You can see everything. You can see from above yourself standing there next to this other person. And as you're doing that, you then hear his voice, and he says, "Do you see a silver cord attached to you?"
Yes.
You're lying. You are lying. You do not, in fact, see a silver cord attached to you.
No. I thought maybe if I decided to see it, it would be there.
No, fair.
Things go that way.
Fair. That lack of a cord means that you are here, not temporarily. You've been lost.
I get lost a lot. It happens.
Well,
I've been to hell a couple of times.
Welcome to the ether.
Thanks.
This has been my
like
prison
it.
for, well, I don't know. From then till now, however long that is for you. I think I've seen past you. I'm not sure.
Well, that's weird. Peeping. Okay. So in this like galaxy brain, I can see everything.
Mm-hmm.
What she would want to check on is the party.
Yeah.
Like, where are they? What are they doing? Are they also lost in the ether? Like.
Okay, so what do you do to check on them? How do you think your way through that?
I guess I would. So first, I would decide to see Glory, and
Okay.
I would be like, "Cool, I see Glory, but like where?"
You see Glory sitting at a tavern bar, chatting with what looks like a young dwarven maid, having what seems to be a fairly calm and maybe a little flirty conversation. You can't hear anything, but you can see it. And Glory seems to be okay.
Oh, good. How's Bleach?
You see Leech, who is... I'm trying to think how to express this. He is in a small tunnel, and he is praying to something. He is casting a small ritual of some sort, and while he's doing that, he's like munching on the fingers of what you think are humans, maybe, but you're not sure.
My good boy. Okay, and then, yeah, I kind of would do that for everyone, like Metzi, and then Finn, and then Silent Fist.
Okay. Metzi is currently sitting on a bed, staring at what looks like your body. You can see an orb that is emitting light and pulsating, and Metzi seems distraught. Metzi is deeply upset, it looks like. And your body, you can see, is almost grayed. Like, as if there's a... It's difficult to explain. The people who you can see that you know are alive have a sort of a vibrance to the colors that they emit. Your body does not emit those colors. It seems devoid, vacant.
I want to try to be in my body.
There is a sensation of force, of being stopped. You can feel it across your whole body, your whole self in this realm, and the intent is there, and if it were possible, you think it would have happened. But instead, you are incapable for some reason. When you attempt it, though, the body that you are watching does briefly sort of jolt a bit, like it kind of makes a physical motion, which Metzi sees and is terrifically upset by, and then Metzi runs out of the room to notify other people. Do you continue watching?
No, I'm done with that then. If I can't get in it, I don't really care about that body.
Okay.
Not very attached to it. It's fine. I'm more concerned with than the other people. So Glory Leech and Metzi seem fine, and they're not with me, but I'd still want to check on Finn.
Finn is sitting at a table in the bar, and you can see him. He is thinking his way through things. He is smoking a pipe and blowing smoke rings, and is clearly very deep in thought. Not entirely certain what about, but he's got that I am concerned face on.
Okay. And then Silent Fist?
Silent Fist is doing something loud and drinking a lot.
Cool. Brenleigh still is satisfied and happy because everyone looks okay. Wait, how's Brick?
Brick is in the... right now, Brick is in the barn, and he is petting a horse, and he is silently weeping.
Oh, buddy. Okay, well, I guess satisfied that everyone is at least where they should be, other than me. It's fine. I would concentrate back on wherever I am.
Okay. So you find yourself re-inhabiting the form that you recognize as your body.
You've been here a long time.
Yes.
I can see my body. It's there. It's doing things, but I can't be in it.
Are you telling him this?
Yes.
Your body is disconnected from you. Mine was from me. The orb you say you touched. Yes? You made physical contact with it?
Well, yeah, it was glowing, lots of colors, and then it started, like, whispering. I mean, what should you do?
I wonder if perhaps the orbs haven't gained some sense of playfulness over their long existence. Being purely magical entities, it's not a surprise that they would want to reach out and touch someone. You can't make something that powerful without it possessing a desire to be, well, used. As for your body, it will act somewhat on its own, but without you to inhabit it, it will end. Likely messily.
Oh, Messy's not going to like that.
Well, it is disturbing to see. I witnessed my own. My wife and children were devastated.
What was that silver cord you had me looking for?
It is possible to travel to this realm in a number of ways. But if you're traveling here temporarily, you would possess some sort of a cord that would be your tether to where you are from. Those who travel here usually have such. If you don't, it's likely you will be lost.
I'm pretty good at being lost. Okay. How many people do you know of that are here permanently?
That I know of?
Yes.
I have met 5 other travelers. 3 of whom I think may still be here somewhere, but very far away. The other 2 One had a means of escape. The other willed himself into non-existence.
Why don't you do that if you're so bored of being here?
Because I still, against all reason, hold out some hope that I will one day be able to set things right. Also, it is deeply antithetical to my religion to end my consciousness.
Don't do it.
And so I remain.
What, in your perspective, would be setting things right? What would you want to accomplish?
Well, I would murder the leaders of the two great empires, preferably messily and in front of large crowds, and I would fix Zelen. They fractured him. They split him.
That why he's all... And she, makes the horn motions and the...
You've met that part of him, have you?
Yeah, a couple times.
That is only half of Zelen. That is his shadow. His darker side. That is his impulses.
Lying side.
For a man who never told a lie so far as I knew him, yes, that is his lying side. Let me put it this way. When you have a choice between doing something right or something wrong, how do you make your choice?
You think through the two options, and then you pick one.
Right. Have you ever had a sensation that there was a slight tugging or pulling or argument within yourself? That perhaps something was trying to convince you of one side or the other?
Let's say yes.
If the answer is no, it's fine to be honest.
No, not really.
Then, fair enough. For me, I often have a small voice in the back of my head that tells me not to do things that I know are wrong. And sometimes another voice that wishes for me to be impulsive and take advantage of the opportunity. Standing on a tall building, for example, there's sometimes a very small voice in the back of my head that would say, jump. And then the greater part of me has to resist.
See, I get it, because actually right now I have the temptation to Sparta kick you off this island because I want to see what would happen, but you're not supposed to do that. I get it now. That makes sense.
Good. I'll ignore the rest of that.
So the point of that, though, is that's the half that tells you to do the bad things.
Yes.
Yeah, he's not very nice. I don't like him.
He's not a friendly entity. Unfortunately, he's the more powerful of the two sides. The other one, they did a much better job of locking up. You can blame the Celador for that one.
I blame a lot of people for a lot of things. That works. So where's his other half?
I don't know. I tried to find it. I suspect the orbs have something to do with it. My suspicion is that if you were to unite all of the orbs, it either would be him or would lead you to him. Which is why they split him so and removed them from time.
Does make things hard to find.
Extremely.
So why was the one that I found in a dragon?
That was their idea of security.
Wasn't very secure.
Well, it was when they put it in the dragon. The issue with this is that we're dealing with time in a way that is non-standard. You still perceive events as happening linearly, correct?
Yeah. Yep. That seems right. Yes.
If you punch something, after the punch, it is damaged, yes?
Yeah. Or
Okay.
dead.
Time, so far as I can tell, does not actually function that way when you are not in a material place. Time all happens simultaneously. The punch and the damage happen at the same time. In fact, all events happen at the same time. Well, the dragon should have been ancient, powerful. They made a
baby.
They made an error.
I could see how that would be problematic.
Yes. What year is it where you are?
I tell him.
Okay, yeah. Interesting. You are later than I thought. That's good. That's good to know. It means that there is still hope. My existence here has not been wasted. Not entirely.
Has it though? I mean, you haven't done anything.
Say again?
Has it though? I mean, you haven't done anything. You said you sit here and you look at things.
Yes, I look at things. I have seen where the orbs are hidden. I have seen the fall of my country and countrymen. I have seen the rise of a number of small civilizations in the same area. I have watched as a tiny village has begun its ascension in the very same spot where where my life ended.
That's messed up.
You travel with an elf and a cat and a few others, yes?
Yeah.
I have seen you.
Well, that's creepy. I haven't seen you.
However, when I saw you last, I think it may have been after now. I'm not sure how much I'm supposed to tell you. I don't know how these things work, really. There's no one here to tell me the rules. I have to suss them out for myself. But when I saw you, you were wearing gleaming armor, bearing the banner of the chrysanthemum and slaying a man in black, cutting his head off and removing part of him.
I mean, that sounds like me. I haven't. No. Huh. Was I any taller?
It's difficult to judge height here. So, I think you might be my ticket out of this place.
I don't know if I want you leaving. You're kind of evil. But also I want to leave. Yeah, okay.
Okay.
How?
Well, there are a few options. Because you're so recent, because you still have a connection, I think it's possible that your ability to rejoin your people will be based at least in part on your connection to them. So, think of who you care for the most. And consider what it would take to meet them. What are you looking for?
Brock's headphones.
Huh?
Brock's headphones.
Oh. Here.
So the first thought that would flash through her mind would be not someone in the party.
Okay. Who would it be?
Her girlfriend, and then her little sister.
When attempting to view her girlfriend, Brenleigh has issues. So describe her for the stream.
Okay. So Brenleigh was raised in a noble family, and in a much more noble family, she has her lady friend, and I say girlfriend out of simplicity, but yeah, I guess Dahlia was 2 years older, and she was very academic and stoic and everything that she was raised to be. In her family, she was meant to become a scholar and pursue honor in that sort of way. And Brenleigh was always very physical and not good at studying and sitting and being still, and always really admired the grace that Dahlia had. So she's a very calming presence for Brenleigh.
You said that Thalia was also part of a noble family?
Yes.
Yeah. So when you attempt to zoom in, when you attempt to view her, what you see is her sitting on what looks like a kind of a throne. There are a line of people looking to converse with her and the person sitting next to her. You recognize the castle as being the local duke's, and the person sitting next to her is the duke himself, or what you recall as the duke's son. They are seated in such a way that it suggests to you that she might be the Duchess.
That makes sense.
And you think that you can detect a sort of a sadness in her expression, but you're not sure if you just want there to be. She seems to be good at it. She speaks confidently. The people who come before the two of them tend to address her before they address him. And she does most of the talking.
Well, that's good. So the original question posed was to think of the people in your life and what it would take to get back to them.
Yep.
Well, she seems good, so I guess I'll leave that be.
So the next is your sister.
Mm-hmm.
Describe your sister.
She was, or is, 5 years younger, and very much not Brenleigh. She is anxious and thoughtful and courteous and very ladylike, very creative and sickly. Brenleigh was always the strong punch first, questions never. And then her sister Elsie is ask 50 questions and then maybe never act.
Okay. So when you view your sister, she is lying on a bed. Her body seems perhaps even weaker than when you last saw her. She is creating figures of light and animating them from where she's sitting. She seems to be almost sort of telling herself a story. And so she makes a figure that is a giant red dragon, and she can make it breathe this luminescent flame, and then a smaller figure, blue and fluorescent, wearing armor with a shield and sword, marches up, and the dragon breathes fire on the small fighter, and the fighter raises their shield and then stands triumphantly. And you recognize that the fighter is actually very short. And she has the fighter stab at the dragon, and the dragon reels back, and they tussle back and forth for a while. And eventually the fighter lops the head off of the dragon, and the dragon falls over, and the fighter stands on top of the dragon, all triumphant. As she's concluding the story, a few people wearing white robes that you recognize as local healers enter the room, and you cannot hear the conversation, but briefly your sister, you can see tears falling from her cheeks, and she's nodding a lot. The healers, they're having a hard time looking at her. Most of them are looking at the ground. And at the end of the conversation, she covers her face for a moment, and then she continues animating the blue fighter. She makes the fighter wave, and she waves at the fighter, and then she puts her hands sort of like on her chest like this, and she closes her eyes and seems to go to sleep. You try waving? Okay.
Oh, actually, I was waving at Thruck.
At Thruck? Yeah. There's a Thruck in my home.
Oh!
Fun game. I'll see you later.
Okay, but no, actually, so as an action of choice, Brenleigh would kind of try to animate the fighter.
She seems shocked, briefly.
To, like, interact.
Her eyes go wide, and you can see that you are able to make the fighter move. And she kind of does a bit of a double take, and then she looks at the fighter, and she's looking all around. She's looking around her, and then she waves back.
And then she would make it like pat its head and rub its tummy at the same time.
Okay. Here's what I need you to do. I need you to make a wisdom check.
Okay.
Our first dice roll.
Woo! Oh, I accidentally did save. That's different, right?
It would be different, except the math is the exact same.
Yeah.
What do you need? Huh? It's upstairs in my pants. Sorry. Okay. Yeah, and actually, that's good. That works. You can hear suddenly, and you look down at yourself, and you see that you're a sort of a line-drawn, neon blue figure right now. You can see your sister. She seems huge at the moment. Completely gigantic compared to you. And you are sort of floating above her slightly.
So I think the first thing she would say would be like, "Hi, Elsie. I love you and I like you." Because that was like their thing.
I love and like you too? Oh my god, Brenleigh, is that you?
What's up?
How are you here?
You know, the usual. Kind of got lost from my body, working on getting back. Just wanted to say hi.
You're lost from what?
Yeah, don't worry about it. It's fine. I've got it handled.
No, I certainly will worry about it. You're lost from your body?
Yeah, just it happens.
Hang on. And she gets up, and it's clearly causing her some trouble to do so. You can see that she is much weaker than last time you saw her. And her, like, she has almost no muscle whatsoever. But she makes her way, all spindly limbs, over to a stack of books. And she, with some effort, shoves, like, the first 30 books off the pile, pulls out one fairly large one, and then makes her way back to her bed. She falls onto it, and it takes her a moment as she's... And then she opens this book, and she looks at you, and she says, "What color is everything around you?"
Purple.
"Do you have a silver cord?"
No. And I'm told that's a problem.
"It is. And she's flipping through pages. "Do you want to come home?"
Yes.
"Brenleigh, where do you need to be?"
Not here, but I want to be here.
"I want you here too, but you can't help me. Where do you need to be?"
With my friends. Including Metzi, who is my friend.
Shade from beyond the grave. That's awesome. Then you need to be there.
I know.
You have to really know it. You have to want it. I need you...
And are you going to be okay?
No, and you know that.
Yeah.
But I will be as comfortable as I can be. And it makes me feel better to know that the people who need you have you.
All right. Fine, I get it. Don't want the older sister around worrying about you.
You're really cramping my style.
Yeah, I know. It's my job. I have to ruin your life.
All these fine suitors, you really intimidate them.
Well, yeah, none of them were good enough. They were disgusting.
Wow. Sis, I love you. And I like you.
I love you and I like you.
But
Bye.
you gotta go.
I know. And I'm gone.
Yeah, you sort of like back out, and it's a little disorienting, but you find yourself floating again back where you were. Oren is looking at you. You nearly left.
Yeah. But it wasn't where I needed to be. I chose wrong.
Where do you need to be?
And then she'd think of Glory, because to her, Glory is just the embodiment of good, and like we've all adopted her as our leader, and so that's where she thinks she needs to be, is following Glory.
So as you think of Glory, you get a sort of a concentrated dose of events. You see yourself being held by Metzi, observed by the group as you watch your body fall to pieces.
Maybe the next one will be taller.
You see them. You see your people terribly upset, but then you see as they sort of rally together. You see Brick and Silent Fist conversing. You see Metzi not dealing with it at all healthily. And you see Glory with determination pulling things back together. And Finn continues to look concerned. And mildly annoyed. And a little grumpy. And you then see them roll up to some fucking castle. It's snowy and cold. And there are creatures that you can see are terrifically powerful undead. And then you watch as your friends get just clobbered. And then they're imprisoned. And there are 6 cells. One of them is empty.
And I know I need to be there with them. Now, helpfully, you'd think Brenleigh would want to be not in a cell. But she thinks she needs to be in there with them, in a cell.
Okay. You need to make a wisdom roll and a charisma roll.
Okay.
Yep. It's about how I thought that was going to go. You feel as if you are breathing. You can't see anything yet. But you feel as if you are breathing. You are in a place that feels very warm, very wet, humid. You can smell. And it smells sweaty.
Oh. Do I know what that smells like?
Yeah. Yeah, you have like a sense of what it is.
That's cool. So all I had to do was melt to get the sense of smell.
Yeah, well, you know, you are in a darkened... Pardon me. You're in... I'm trying to describe it without using the word oubliette. That's essentially where you are. You are in an entirely darkened place that is You slowly gain the sensation in your limbs. You slowly gain the capacity to recognize who you are. You have some kind of a physical form, and as you look down at yourself, you realize that though you can't see anything here, you are existing. You can breathe, you can smell, you can taste the inside of your mouth, which is not something that you're used to considering, but because it's the first thing you can taste, you are tasting it. And then you can see a white light that seems fairly far away.
Brain says, don't go towards the light, that's death. But Brenleigh wants to... Is it like a pinprick of light, or does it look like there's like a light in the distance? And I know that that's not necessarily a good question to ask, but like...
It looks more like a light in the distance. It is slightly larger than a pinprick.
Okay.
It feels more like you're in a tunnel.
Yeah, so... Go towards the light.
Okay. So you head towards the light, and you find yourself in a stone gray cell. And while you cannot see everything that's around you, hang on. Just yet. Have I moved you? Yeah, good. Okay. You have a body. And as you look down at your arms, you see that you are glowing slightly. Sort of a purplish hue. Similar to when you were inhabiting the illusory fighter created by your sister. And there is a fearsome creature in the cell next to you. It is attacking you.
Okay. Nice. Welcome back to the land of the living.
Yes. You have... Well, what do you do? Let's start there.
I guess when I was patting myself down, do I have my equipment?
So you reach for your sword.
Yes.
And you have the sheath, but you do not have the sword, and yet you feel as if you have the memory of the sword.
I draw it.
You're holding a sword. It is purple and translucent. And
nice.
it glows with a power inside of you.
Oh, heck yeah. I do a swingaroonie. Pew!
The creature almost melts as you slice into it. It is cut clean in two from stem to stern, and it falls to the floor in halves.
All right, that seems fine.
The sword loses some of its glow, but you can still feel it sort of thrumming, and you can sense it, and then it calms down, and then it slowly fades and is gone.
And my sheath is still empty.
And what?
Wait, the sword is gone?
The sword is gone.
And my sheath is still empty?
Yes.
That's problematic. All right, well, she doesn't dwell on things much, so try to leave the room.
You can hear your friends shouting.
Yeah, that's what I want to get to.
that's where we're gonna stop.
Okay. Perfect.
Things to mark on your sheet.
Okay.
Your willpower is raised by 1.
Ooh. Wisdom?
Wisdom is raised by 1.
Just making sure I'm doing the right thing. Okay.
And next to human on your sheet, you, in parentheses, should write resident outsider.
Okay.
Next to your height, add 2 inches.
Oh! Hello. Hello, average height. Almost. Okay.
You have a fly speed of 1 foot.
I'll take it.
So you can very slowly fly up. And then you also have a new ability.
Okay.
Spectral Sword.
Ooh.
It is a sword that is summonable a number of times per day equal to your level divided by 3.
Okay.
It lasts for 1 round.
Mm-hmm.
It counts as magical.
Yep.
And it deals damage equal to your pardon me, your blah, 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 blah. My brain just stopped for a second. It deals damage equal to your hit points divided by 3.
Okay.
So whatever your hit points are at the time divided by 3, that's how much damage it does for the 1 round. Its range, by the way, is medium.
Mm-hmm.
And Jade, yeah, good question. It is rounded down, the damage.
Okay. Nice.
So right now you could summon it once a day. At level 6 you can summon it twice.
Which, for what it's worth, I was reminded that after the dragon I was supposed to level up to level 6.
So
and I didn't.
So you can do it twice a day. Medium range, I gotta double check. I want to say it's like a maximum of like 50 feet, but I might be wrong. You know what, let's just call it a 50-foot range instead of saying medium like weapon ranges. Let's just say it's a line of sight 50 feet. And there we go.
Does the sword, like, extend that far? Or, like, I swing it and just things are damaged that far?
Yeah, I'll have to use it to find out.
Heck yes. That's awesome. Either way.
My doorbell just rang, and I don't know why. Oh, and then they're walking away, so I guess it's a package of some kind. That's weird. Anywho, yeah, so I think that's where we're going to leave it.
Okay.
So thank you very much to everybody out there who tuned in to watch. Holy crap, there's a bunch of you.
Yeah, that was awesome.
So this was our bonus episode of New to the Party. If you like what you saw, although this is even weirder than normal and not entirely indicative of what we typically do, but The rest of the party is currently working their way out of a riddle dungeon. Let's just call it that. And we are here every Monday from 6 to 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And we'd love to see you. And Cubit, do you have anything to add?
Thanks for being here with me, everyone. I've missed you a lot. And this was a really cool session. Thank you, Zed.
Absolutely.
For melting my character and putting me through.
No, that was good. And thank you very much for being willing to play. And thank you, everybody, for watching. And awesome. We'll see you guys later. Right now, I'm going to throw it on over to... Oh, thank you, Dallin. There we go. Let me see who we want to throw it on over to. Or we could just start a replay. I'm not entirely sure. Throck is, I don't think, on here with us. Thank you, Shakes. Thank you, Pardalis. Alright, I am going to... Let me see here. Do we have a suggestion for who to toss it to? Because I seem not to have... None of the people who I want to throw it over to seem to be online. And we always like to share the love. Bye, Jage. Well, bummer. I am not seeing who I want to see. Alright, well, we can always try... I think I'm just gonna set it up for repeat. That's what we're gonna do. So thank you very much, and stick with us, and you can check out last Monday's game if you would like. And otherwise, we love you, and we will see you all soon. Bye.